I'm Phil Bolton with the Global Atlanta News Service, and today I'm with Suresh Kumar, Director of the U.S. Commercial Service. Welcome to Atlanta.
Wonderful to be here, Phil. Thank you.
I take it you're generally in favor of free trade agreements.
Absolutely. The U.S. has always stood for free and fair trade, and we are absolutely always open to such arrangements.
How do you feel about Nafta generally, now that some time has passed since it went into effect in the early 90s?
It has been incredibly successful. If you look at it, if you just look at the amount of trade transacted between Canada and us and Mexico and us, Canada and Mexico continue to be our #1 and #2 markets. And to put it in perspective, at a point in time when there is significant amount of conversation around what's happening in emerging markets, just our exports to Canada alone is 2.5 times our exports to China, and more than our total exports to China, Japan, South Korea, and Singapore combined. So, I just give you that as one example. And similarly, our exports to Mexico have grown substantially. We believe NAFTA was the right thing to do and move in the right direction.
Does this help our overall relationship with Mexico?
I have had the pleasure of speaking with my counterparts in Mexico when I was there. Our trade with Mexico continues to be very robust, and there is significant interest on both sides to make this go even further. So yes, they're very happy and willing to look at American products and services and technology, and sharing a common border as we do within North America with both Mexico and with Canada also allows us the opportunity to look at these markets as a part of an embedded supply chain. And the world is very quickly moving into global supply chains anyways.
Could you bring us up to date on the free trade agreements that are proposed for Panama, Colombia, and Korea?
Absolutely glad to. As you well know, the administration has worked on all these three free trade agreements. We are far along, and it is the intent to go through Congress on the Korea agreement. That alone is going to add $10 billion in exports and create 70,000 jobs here in the United States. We have worked on significantly on both the Panama and the Colombia free trade agreements. We are in final stages, and it is our hope and intent that this will very quickly pass soon after the Korea one goes through.
Do you think that the Congress will act responsibly?
Well, that is always the hope, because it is in all our interest to act responsibly, but it's in all our interest to further trade, which will create jobs here in the United States. Now, we've seen 15 or 14 straight months, 14 or 15 months of job growth here in the United States. It's trending very well. We're currently at 9% unemployment, which is not where we want to be, or we're not pleased with 9%. But we are incredibly happy with the fact that inheriting more than 10.5% of unemployment, 14 of 15 periods we've had private sector job growth. And I think we need to be staying focused on job creation and wealth creation through trade.
We are watching closely export figures because of the administration's desire to expand them over the next 5 years. I was wondering how coordinated the administration's emphasis on exports is. We had an economist yesterday in Atlanta talking about the Department of Transportation's interest in creating the infrastructure to help exports. Is this really an administration-wide initiative?
Oh, absolutely. The president, when he announced the National Export Initiative almost 15 months ago, called on all the agencies which in any shape or form touch exports or trade to come together, to work together, so that we can leverage the combined resources of the United States government to its fullest degree. And that's what has happened. Just so that, staying with NEI and looking at results, the President called on us to double exports and create 2 million jobs here at home. We've just spoken to the job growth in 14 or 15 periods and trending in the right direction. With respect to the first goal, which is doubling exports. Doubling exports over 5 years is a 15% compounded annual growth rate. We've done 17% in the first 12 months. In addition to that, exports of $1.83 trillion is the second highest exports the U.S. has ever had. And thirdly, if you look at it, of the full 2.9% GDP growth last year, almost half came from exports. So whichever way we look at it, we are very pleased with the results, but we are also conscious that it's only the first of 5 years, and much requires to be continued to be done.
Is the value of the dollar key here?
Well, the U.S. has always stood for free and open markets. It's a market-driven economy. We don't look at whether the dollar is up or down or what happens. Markets determine the value, and sometimes it helps, and sometimes it doesn't. And that's the nature of markets. But you know, we are in a globally interconnected marketplace, and we've been able to post those results. You know, with the circumstances which every other country is seeing the same.
Where are most of these exports going? Where's the growth?
Well, if you look at the growth markets, the obvious ones come to mind, but I've also, you know, we are in a very fortunate situation. Our big markets, the biggest markets which you hear about are right in our backyard, the Nafta markets. They're growing. They're growing very well. And in fact, if you look at it, just the tourism exports from Canada is greater than all of our exports to India. And yet, India and China are growing markets. India grew 40%. So when you look at growth to the magnitude, we are seeing growths in the fast developing economies of China, India, and Brazil. And we are fortunate enough to continue to realize growth in the big markets where we need to grow too.
Thank you very much, and we hope to see you again in Atlanta soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Delighted to be here. And let's keep those numbers going the right way. And we're looking forward to working closely with the state government, our partners in Georgia, to post just as spectacular results in year 2 as we could in year 1. So thank you so much.